Chemical changes in everyday life. Several chemical changes take place in our surroundings, in our body, at home, and in the laboratory. Some of them can be expressed in the form of word equations and chemical equations. Let us see those examples. First, we shall see some natural chemical changes. Natural chemical changes. Respiration. Respiration is a biological process that occurs continuously in our body. During the process of respiration, we inhale air and exhale carbon dioxide and water vapor. Here, glucose in the cells reacts with oxygen in the inhaled air to form carbon dioxide and water. This process can be expressed in the form of word equation and chemical equation. Now let us try an activity. Activity: take some freshly prepared lime water, that is a solution of calcium hydroxide, in a test tube. Now keep blowing in it with a blow tube. What do you see in the test tube after some time? Did the colorless lime water turn milky? Yes, it did turn milky. Now keep the test tube standing for some time. A white, insoluble solid settles at the bottom of the test tube. This is the precipitate of calcium carbonate. The lime water turning milky indicates that the blown gas was carbon dioxide. Let us see the word equation and the chemical equation for this chemical reaction. Carbon dioxide reacts with calcium hydroxide to form calcium carbonate and water. The next example of natural change is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. We know that green plants make food by the process of photosynthesis. During photosynthesis, carbon dioxide combines with water in the presence of sunlight and the green pigment of leaves called chlorophyll. To make food like glucose, an oxygen gas is given out. Let us see the word equation and the chemical equation for this chemical reaction. Please note that the chemical equation has not been balanced. Now let us study some examples of man-made chemical changes. Man-made chemical changes. We bring about many chemical changes for our use. The example of lemon juice and baking soda that we saw earlier is used in the preparation of a cold drink, soda lemon. This change can be classified as a useful man-made chemical change. Combustion. We burn fuels like wood, coal, petrol, and cooking gas to obtain energy. All these fuels contain basically the element carbon. It is carbon in these fuels that undergoes combustion and combines with oxygen to form carbon dioxide. A word equation and chemical equation can be written for this chemical reaction. Combustion of fuel can also be classified as a fast and irreversible chemical change. Cleaning Shahabad tiles with dilute hydrochloric acid. The chemical composition of Shahabad tiles is mainly calcium carbonate. When it is cleaned with hydrochloric acid, the upper layer of the tile reacts with hydrochloric acid to form three products. Calcium chloride is one of the products which is formed. It being soluble with water is washed away. The second product is carbon dioxide. It escapes in the form of bubbles which mix up in the air. The third product formed is water, which mixes with water. The word equation and the unbalanced chemical equation for this chemical reaction is as shown here. Softening of hard water. Some wells or tube wells have hard water which is brackish to taste. It also does not form lather with soap. This is because it contains chloride and sulfate salts of calcium and magnesium in the dissolved state. Hard water is softened by adding a solution of washing soda in it. Washing soda is nothing but sodium carbonate. Sodium carbonate reacts with the chloride and sulfate salts of calcium and magnesium to form insoluble carbonate salts of calcium and magnesium respectively. These salts are removed in the form of a precipitate of carbonate salts and water is softened. These chemical changes can be represented in the form of word equations and chemical equations. Calcium chloride reacts with sodium carbonate to form calcium carbonate and sodium chloride. Calcium sulfate reacts with sodium carbonate to form calcium carbonate and sodium sulfate. Magnesium chloride reacts with sodium carbonate to form magnesium carbonate and sodium chloride. Magnesium sulfate reacts with sodium carbonate to form magnesium carbonate and sodium sulfate. In all these examples, we have seen that during a chemical change, the composition of matter changes and new substances having different properties are formed. When this happens, some chemical bonds in the reactants break and new substances called products are formed by the formation of new chemical bonds. We have learned that the valency indicates the number of chemical bonds an atom can form with other atoms. Now let us see what actually is a chemical bond.